Your San Jose Barracuda have done something they haven't done since 2017, and that is advance to the next round of the Calder Cup playoffs. We'll break this one down. We'll get discussions on this game, what's next for the Cuda, and get ready. The Reef is going to be rocking sometime next week. Right now, this is Barracuda After Dark on Teal Town, USA. Good evening, CUDA fans. Oh, for the first time in 6 years, a San Jose pro hockey team has won a playoff round, and that would be the San Jose Barracuda defeating the Ontario Reign 2-1, and they win the series 2-0. We welcome you to this edition of Barracuda After Dark here on Teal Town, USA. This is your live interactive Barracuda post-game show. So if you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in CUDA country on the YouTube page or the app. You can always follow us on the social. We do GIF when somebody's not stuck in traffic from a Giants game on the Twitter threads and Blue Sky. And if you want to find everything else at tealtownusa.com. And if you want to help us keep the lights on for the pod, hit us up at Teal Town USA on Venmo. And with that, guys, I say hello to Ian Reed and Kevin Lacey. Guys, we have a playoff clinching. It's so nice to say for the first time forever. Kevin, how are you, bud? You are, I don't know if you're muted, but go ahead, bud.
Eric, this is the liveliest you have been all year. Maybe
I have
in
no
like
idea,
2
dude.
years. Man, you are pumped up, and I like to see it. I hope everyone out there and in the universe are excited because the San Jose Barracuda. It took 8 years, but we finally got revenge on that little rat bastard Joe Hicketts. So there you go. The Barracuda advance for their first playoff win since the second round of the 2017 Calder Cup playoffs. Of course, Grand Rapids went on to win the Calder Cup that year with Joe Hicketts and Kyle Criscuolo. But we don't care about that. We've ended the reign, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I think the best thing about this to me is that this was a series going into it, and I said this on Twitter after they won game one. This is a series that they could have easily folded up like a cheap suit and we're done, right? They're missing Podorowski, Thomas Bordalo, Gushchin, all out with either illness or injury. So I mean, there's like a bunch of goals gone. Yep. Shakir Mukamadulin, another guy, Lucas Carlson. Like they're missing so many guys that you would expect to see in this lineup. And yet they came out and I think they played two pretty solid games. I think there was a stretch in this game where I definitely had some concerns, but all things considered, I think they did really good. For a Barracuda team that I have given a ton of flack to this year for some of their performances, I don't have too much bad to say about these two.
Yeah, this was absolutely great play by the CUDA. I mean, to allow just one goal, and granted, I mean, like Askarov, had to face 47 shots in this 2-game series. I mean, it's nice to have the light work, I guess, but also it's nice that you only allow one goal in this series. Meanwhile, you allow 4 goals in the 2 games, and Ontario is going home. So it's
the third seeded Ontario Reign at that.
Yes, and we'll get to all the scenarios and everything in a little bit later. But let's get to the highlights of this one as I attempt to learn this new software. So Ian, bear with me if I screw this up.
I'll forgive you.
Yeah, but early on in the second period, little bit longer, but I mean, Askarov played phenomenal tonight, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Askarov was really good. I mean, obviously, was going to have to be one of the things for the Barracuda to be good in the playoffs. I mean, thankfully, this is the one position where they are not depleted, is in goal. And Askarov so far has been everything he's been advertised to be. He, again, 1 goal in 2 games that he's played so far. And if the Barracuda are going to do anything further in the playoffs, it's going to be on the back of his play.
Sorry, guys. I was trying to do a little bit of business here. So, yes, Yaroslav Askarov was great, and he really had to be. You knew that Ontario, I mean, fighting for their season, were going to come out really hard, and they were very flat on Thursday night. I thought both teams started off flat on Thursday. The Barracuda found their game midway through the second period, and then carried the entirety of the third period. So Ontario needed to start off strong. We talked on our last show about Ontario is a team that has gotten the jump on the Barracuda time after time after time after time after time after time. Is that 7? Because it happened 7
Yeah.
times. I think I got them all. But yeah, they really slayed the beast in this one. And Askarov coming up with a huge performance tonight, 29 saves out of 30. The only goal, of course, as we'll get to later, but the only goal was Martin Chromiak, who I said it online today that the 2 players that I never want to see shooting, and every time we played Ontario this season, when they'd have the puck, you'd hear me audibly say, oh no, is Samuel Fagimo and Martin Chromiak, because those guys have dynamite shots. Everybody else, not really concerned. Jack Studnicka, old news. But yeah, the Barracuda came out strong, got this earned this victory as the underdog team. There's a reason why they were playing in SoCal here these 2 games, and I'm really excited to see hockey at Tech CU Arena in May at
Yes. Yes, I can't wait. I need to order that seat, by the way. Thank you for reminding me, Kevin. The reason
strips are available now at
Yes.
sjbarracuda.com.
Wow, that it's like he has a nice voice, folks. I don't know.
What a shock. Anyway,
Anthony Vincent gets things going to make it 1-0 CUDA here on this play. The video kind of got a little, or the camera kind of got a little choppy, so it got lost in there. But nice play by Vincent. He gets his first 1-0 CUDA. Things were looking up right after that Askarov save. Ian.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to make sure. Chat, did you guys get the audio through that clip? Because I know I changed the settings, so you should have audio through that clip now. Because I guess through the first clip they couldn't hear you. I just want to confirm that we have audio.
I think the people who are listening on the on Spotify and all that, they couldn't see that clip. Can you somehow make that part work too? Or
no, I can't. Okay, audio's here. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Michael says that the audio works. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Yeah, what a fantastic save by Askarov there, coming across and getting that left pad out. That was an unbelievable save. And just like how I was joking how Drew Remenda always says first shift after a goal, Randy, like in the last game, it was a save at one end and a goal at the other, Randy, on the other side of things. So yeah, Ian, what did you think of that save and that goal, man?
I mean, again, like Askarov really kind of saved their bacon through the most of it. But I think it was just, again, it's like the thing that is been good about this team is, again, it's the guys, it's the role players that kind of got things done. Like even in the first game, right? Like you're missing the guys that have done all the scoring for this team. Like when you look at the amount of goals that Paul Doralski had and Gushin had and Bordalo had, I mean, you would think, how do they have a chance to win a series? And again, you got guys like Anthony Vincent, Van Roboys, and really kind of carried them through. I think that's
yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who did, thank you, John. Thank you so much for that super chat there.
Yep.
As we talked about a bit on our last show, but for anyone who did miss it, it's nice to see that Van Roboys and Vincent and Houle were able to maintain lineup spots. Obviously, there are injuries, but able to maintain lineup spots on a roster that has 33 players active on it right now. So showing that the dogs who got you to the playoffs are being rewarded with playoff ice time, and then rewarding you by scoring huge goals like Anthony Vincent did tonight in the first period. Just it's been outstanding. And then God, I love our fourth line. I do. So yeah, fantastic work. Anthony Vincent, he's got that pardon my French, but he's got that shit-eating grin that teams just can't stand, and they're going after him every single whistle. And I've asked him about it. I said, "What is going on, Anthony? Why?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't say anything." And I'm like, "Okay. Well, it's either your smile or your what's coming out of your mouth there, pal. But keep it up, nevertheless." So
Yeah, I agree. I love that fourth line. We had a question earlier in the chat. Obviously, we haven't seen Quentin Musty or Igor Chernishev. I'm not really surprised by that. I don't think Quentin Musty was that good in the games that he played with the Barracuda. So like for Quentin Musty, I'm kind of like whatever. I think with Hool going down, I mean Gushin's sick, so hopefully he'll be back soon. But if for some reason he can't go, I think at that point I'd like to see Chernyshov get back in. But I don't think Musty was good, and I don't think and that's not like that's not me saying like, oh God, we got to write off Quentin Musty now, right? Because that is silly.
No.
But I don't think I think he's going to take some time to adjust.
He played 2 games. It's over.
Yeah, no, it's over. It's over. Bust, total bust. But I think that I think he's going to obviously get a chance to be a big part of this team next season. But I don't. You agree, Kevin? I'm not really upset he's not playing.
No, I agreed. I thought that Igor Chernyshov, if anyone was going to draw into the lineup, I thought maybe Hool might draw out, and given that Hool was significantly injured in this game, he probably wishes the same. Best wishes to Donovan Hool. If those of you did not catch the game, he took a slap shot from Joey Keane right to, I think, the cheek.
Right in the cheek. Yeah, I think he broke his jaw.
Yeah, and so that was pretty bad. But I did think Chernyshov was going to get in. Hool versus Gush. I mean, Hool coming in for Gushin in the last game, not the same type of skill set. So that's why I thought Chernyshov might be an easier slide in on the lineup. But the thing was, last game, Chernyshov was not dressed during warm-up, so he wasn't an option. But I was surprised that John McCarthy had Quentin Musty be the 13th forward during warm-up here tonight. So he obviously would have drawn in had anyone gone down during warm-up. But Christian did not play in the warm-up. But it is going to be curious to see. I think that Musty being a bigger body than Chernyshov is likely the reason for that. But depending on lineup availability next round, I do expect to see some changes here, and maybe the kids get in. But going back to what you're asking, Ian, no, I don't think Musty did enough, and nor would I really expect him to, given he turned pro and is still only 19.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I don't want to I don't want this to be I don't want someone to go clickbaity on me and be like, "Oh, Ian said Musty's a bust." No, I just said he wasn't good in the small sample size of games I've seen him play for the Barracuda so far.
Well, and I need to run on this for a second, Eric, before we get back to the game. But
you're good.
I'm going to bring up later. I got a tweet, or I saw a tweet rather yesterday that basically said, I don't want to throw the B word bust around about Philip Beestet, but I'm like, he turned 21 years old 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago or something. It's his first year pro. He's exactly on track to where he should be. He scored in the last game. He missed 6 weeks due to injury. Philip Beestet is fine. So knock it off with that crap. The only 20-year-old bust that I have ever seen in my life was Ryan Merkley. So it's not a thing. Give the prospects 2 or 3 years before you can even consider their future aspects of reaching the NHL or not.
I'm sure some people in the chat feel very targeted, and they should. I agree.
No, it was not anyone in this chat. It was completely outside of that. But if there are people in the chat who feel that way, I guess my sentiment does apply.
I think he did fine for first season playing pro in North America. He got off to a really good start. I just think as the grind of the season goes on, it's hard, right? Like it's hard to make that jump to pro hockey, and the frequency of games and all of that. So I don't know. I think he was fine this year. He definitely wasn't as good to finish the season as he was to start, but I thought he was still fine.
Gotcha. So it was 1-0 after 40 minutes of play. We also had the Luca Cagnoni double hit there. That looks like he took a cheap shot to the chin. He would be out for a while and then would come back later in the third period with the fishbowl on his helmet. In that time, Ontario would tie things up on a one-timer here. Was help me out, Lacey. You're the one who gets me through these.
Martin Chromiak.
Thank you from Chromiak.
Chromiak.
Wow,
Chromiak.
Yeah, I want to say chlorophylor or
no,
chromatic.
that's another in arena person who does that. But anyway, I digress.
Never forget.
I do want to go back to the Cagnoni, which is probably closer than chloroform to Chromiak. Then, but anyway, I want to go back to the Cagnoni thing.
Yeah,
I'm blaming John McCarthy on this one.
Really?
Because on the shift prior, Jacob Doty and his line, Ontario's fourth line, clearly, they just came out. I recognize that San Jose has, Ontario has last change during a stoppage, but Doty's line was already out there. And Hachey I'm forgetting who Hachey. Oh, Hachey and Thompson were the defense pair out there. They had just gotten out. Stoppage in play. You know that Marco Sturm's going to be keeping the Doty line out there. They just came out. Instead of pulling Braden Hachey, or instead of keeping Braden Hachey out there to neutralize Doty, he throws Cagnoni and Frisch. Neither of those out as a D pair. Neither of those guys are over 6 feet. Yeah. So right then and there, I'm going, those are the guys that you want to have going up against 249-pound Jacob Doty? That's not good lineup management. And
it's insanity.
Yeah, so you're putting Cagnoni right then and there, who's barely 5'8", and I know what his stat line says, but he's barely 5'8", and we saw what happened. So hopefully McCarthy recognizes who's already out on and going to be staying on the ice. Because you don't get last change in that situation, but you can be a little bit more observant. And maybe it's not even McCarthy. Maybe it's Louis Mass. Maybe just the coaching staff in general needs to be have more situational awareness.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously all three of these games were going to be in Ontario. In this case, they're played at crypto.com because of arena conflicts. But just because all three games are played in the same arena, the middle game is still considered the Barracuda's home game, so they get last change.
Oh, so that's even worse to me then.
Yeah, right. Like that's like it. What you have that was the home game for the Barracuda, even though it technically wasn't a home game. It's not like just because they play 3 games in the same arena, like that the Reign are going to get last change every game. So yeah, I mean that's the case, and I'm glad you brought that up. It bothers me too, especially because like Doty had already been running guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So you put your best defenseman on the ice against, especially and again, like Luca Cagnoni, to his credit, small dude that can take an absolute pounding.
He's a fire hydrant. He's awesome. Yeah. He's a little pug, but at the same time got some bulldog in him.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know, man. It does bother me, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it definitely needed to be said.
That was a completely avoidable injury if the coaching staff is just aware of who's out on the ice at the time. Don't be throwing Cagnoni and Frisch out in a defensive zone draw situation going up against their thug line. So sorry, I
Yeah.
had to get that out there.
No, you're good. I mean, this is what it's all about. We bring the passion, we bring the analyzing. That's what we do here. So, by the way, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button already if you want more of this, because we have more Barracuda hockey postgame to talk about soon. But speaking of which, Cagnoni, tough as nails, does come back with the fishbowl on.
Let's
And
talk about
was it
I
part
want to talk
Puck?
about before he comes back though, because
Okay, fine.
this was two very different games with Cagnoni and without
Sure was.
Cagnoni. Like this was the other thing that really kind of upset me too, because without Cagnoni in the lineup, like when he wasn't playing, like it was a lot of chip and chase, a lot, and it was crazy how night and day the play went with Cagnoni being able to play and without, because it was a completely different game while he was out, and the Barracuda are basically just chipping and chasing. There's no offensive pressure. I think for a long time they had like 2 shots on goal, which were nothing shots on goal. And it's mind boggling that this was allowed to continue, because I look at Luca Cagnoni obviously is their big guy who's going to be able to carry the puck and do everything, but to have the play change that drastically without him it's I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me.
You're right, and that's one where a guy like Lucas Carlson is missed, because
Yes.
he is your second option as far as your offensive puck moving defenseman, who could eat up the extra minutes, especially given that he is a veteran defenseman, can eat up some of the minutes while Cagnoni was out. But obviously, Cagnoni, or rather Carlson, congratulations on new or continued fatherhood. I'm not sure how many kids he has, but nevertheless, should be back there for round 2. But really happy to see Cagnoni back, coming back from the dead, it seemed, because that was a real rough ride that he got on that hit from Doty. And I did not think that it was, a questionable hit or a borderline hit. It's just a
Just a
huge
big hit.
man.
Yeah, just a huge
Clobbering
man.
small. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, some of the officiating was pretty garbage
Oh.
though, but in this situation, I think I agree that hit was fine. Although maybe the elbow got up a little high there, and
You
maybe
could
you
have.
can call that.
Yeah.
But I mean, aside from the elbow possibly being high, and again, when you're looking at these, when you're watching on Flow Hockey, obviously we don't get the same view of the game that we would in an NHL broadcast. So it looked like the elbow might have been a little high, but also, again, like to Kevin's point, this is a big, massive man hitting a short man.
Yeah.
and so getting
So now
back,
we'll get to the third period at last.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Oh,
I had to.
No, but
we needed to get that out, Ian.
no, but you know what? Here's the thing, though, is that the officiating was just piss poor these 2 games, and especially when you see the whole mix up of Cagnoni gets hurt, but yet the Reign get a power play, and then
Yeah,
you have what was it? Van
Well,
Roboys
last game it was
slashing.
Kopchuk, and this game it was Vincent.
yeah,
Yeah, and
And
Van
Van
Roboys.
Roboys. The one you're talking about is Van Roboys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he gets slashed and tripped up, and he gets called for roughing along with Jones. I mean, like, really? What the heck is that all about? And not the least of which, right before that play, Sabarin cross checks Lee, and he's down in pain, and there's no call there.
Yeah.
I mean,
that did go on our benefit for sure.
yes, but I mean. Not to steal Ian's quote, but that was very meh by the officiating, and that's not what you were hoping for, especially in a playoff game. But
And
we digress.
it was an entirely different officiating crew tonight than Thursday's game. That Thursday's officiating was really bad. I actually thought they started off okay, but got progressively worse as the night went on, though.
Yeah. So down the line, Cagnoni returns with his fishbowl, and about 2 minutes left to go in the third. About roughly 2 1/4 left to go. Cardwell comes in. gets it over to Graf. On the backhand, he scores, and not the least of which them celebrating. But look at the crowd in LA of all the CUDA fans in there. I love that they made the trip tonight. I know there was also a viewing party at Calder's as well. But boys, I guess we could say Colin Graf with the second biggest goal in Barracuda franchise history.
I
I
don't know about
hadn't
that.
I hadn't considered that, but I suppose that could be true.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like,
I,
look at I'm happy the Barracuda won. I'm happy they went through, but like this is the first round of a 5-round playoff. I don't know. It seems a
Yeah.
little.
So, I'm glad you. Okay. So today, I don't know why I decided to get into it with a couple people on the AHL's Facebook page, but I did nevertheless. And someone was saying, "What is this round best of 3 crap? All rounds need to be best of 7 in the AHL. This is ridiculous." And I'm
Oh
going,
my god.
we don't need AHL hockey being played in August.
Right, because it would be right, like with the extra round, like I don't know. I mean, like to me, like this isn't really a play in round because like all these teams that are playing like are playoff seeded teams normally. I guess well maybe not because there's 7 teams in the. Yeah, I guess not. I guess it kind of is a play in round. I mean,
It is.
yeah,
it
it
is a
is.
play-in
More.
round. Yeah, it is
It,
because
it,
I forget that there's a whole other division in the Western Conference.
yes. Yes. The thing is, and we'll go to Chef's point here.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, he asks or she asks, how does the AHL playoffs go? This series is best of 3. Next is best of 5. And that is absolutely correct. So
Yes.
back in the 16-team AHL playoff format, it would be best of 5 for round 1, and then all 3 rounds thereafter would be best of 7, with 4 teams advancing from each division. But because the Pacific Division now has 10 teams in it and 7 of them qualify, the
Right.
AHL has decided to have a 23-team playoff out of 32. And so that's why you now have this additional round of best of 3 here, where Colorado has been sitting and resting as the top seed. And then the other 6 teams battle it out for 3 spots to then go to what we'll call round 2 of the playoffs, which is really
Really
where
round 1.
really it's round 1, because this is where the traditional playoff format now begins. And the other divisions have been doing something similarly, where they started doing a play-in round with I believe it's like 4 and 5 or something. What's up, Eric?
Yeah.
No, I was just going to add on. The Central Division had a 4-5 matchup where Rockford defeated Chicago, and then in the
Very
Atlantic
surprising, by the way.
there was 2 like the Pacific, where or well, not like the Pacific, but it was similar, where Providence and Springfield matched up, and then Wilkes-Barre Scranton against Lehigh Valley, and then the North also had that play-in round to take on Laval, and Cleveland advanced, and I believe it was double overtime tonight.
Wow, fun.
So
Yeah, it's the AHL is a funny league because the divisions, I guess the teams in the division basically determine their playoff format for the first round. So that's why it's completely different from one division to the other to the other. But I think it's cool because like it kind of gives people an idea of what a play-in round could look like if they want to move it up to bigger levels of hockey, which I know a lot of people are vehemently against. But I feel like if the NHL keeps expanding, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I know Gary Bettman has expressed interest in expanding the NHL playoffs. So I do think, a lot of the rule changes do happen in the AHL first. So this could be a sign of the future. I'm glad you brought up kind of rounded up the other divisions, Eric, because I just now realized Providence better watch out, because the underseed has won every round or every bracket so far, I think, except for Abbotsford is about to beat Tucson.
Beat Tucson, yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
just to say, get in here, 3-0. Abbotsford is leading Tucson. If that score holds, coupled with Coachella sweeping Calgary 2-0 tonight. Looks like the CUDA will be taking on the Colorado Eagles in the Pacific Division semifinals, and then Abbotsford would have home ice against Coachella Valley.
Right. Absolutely. So if we do want to have our matchup against Coachella Valley, we're going to need to eat the Beagles. Wow. Woo! Beat the Eagles. Although I like eat the Beagles a little
Eat the
bit
Beagles is way better.
And as a special guest, here's Jeff Feagles. No,
better. Jay Beagle.
oh, Jay Beagle. Yeah, there you go. But nonetheless, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here now. Obviously, the victory means that the CUDA win the series, and it does assure at least one home game at Tech C Arena. Kevin, I know you are a long time. Do I say season ticket holder per se?
I am a
Yeah.
season ticket holder.
So
Ever since they moved to Tech CU, I've been a season ticket holder. So
I was
so
going to say, good of you to support the team in Worcester.
but not the least of which, though. I mean, this has got to be exciting because we can see how loud that rink can get.
yes,
I don't think the roof has been blown off just yet, but
it somehow stayed on after the education day, but I learned from the education day to bring earplugs. So I am planning on bringing earplugs for the very first time ever to a playoff game, because if it gets as loud as I think it's going to get when there is the inevitable game 3, I shouldn't even say that. Didn't think about this, but because here's the thing for those of you who don't know about AHL playoff formats.
go for it.
If there is a difference between cities of 300 miles or more, which
Oh, is it going to
clearly
be a 3 and 2?
Loveland, that's right. It could be, it likely will be a 2-3 series. Thus, the Barracuda would have games 1 and 2 at Tech CU Arena. And that's a good time to take a 2-0 series lead before going to Loveland for game 3. How about that, guys?
Right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I believe games 1 and 2 will be in San Jose.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right to me. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, right? But I mean, it looks like Colorado is obviously going to be the next round opponent. So I guess we should probably talk about how did this team beat the Colorado Eagles, because I think that's going to be a tall order. Like, they're going to need some health quickly.
They don't even have Landeskog anymore.
I know.
Oh, that's great. They don't even have Landeskog anymore.
Colorado's 5-5 in their last 10. We're on a 2-game winning streak, so
That's
we're
true.
fine.
Well, here's my other thing too, though. Colorado's been sitting around for how long? At least
That's
a
true.
week.
A week.
I mean,
It's the whole rest versus rest thing, right?
right. I'm kind of like,
But
interesting.
See, you can get the jump on them on game 1, and it's a home game for San Jose. So, yeah, got to make it happen. I really am so happy that the Barracuda took care of business in these 2 games in Los Angeles, though, because
Yes.
I did not want this. I mean, obviously, we didn't want this going back to game 3, but I did not want this going out to a sold-out Toyota Arena on Monday night, where they get all their fan base back and a true home ice advantage. I think the lack of crowd, lack of audience, especially the way they situated the crowd at crypto.com arena, having everyone sitting on one side, really benefited San Jose in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the Barracuda are used to playing to nobody, so
Oh,
That's fair, but they usually draw more than what drew it
Sure.
arena. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just did not understand this from a semantics point. Like, what I'm thinking is they wanted the visibility for the benches to see one side of crowd.
Right.
On TV, it looked horrible because
right.
all you saw was empty seats on the opposite side of the camera. but having that kind of lopsided energy where only one side of the arena is making noise, like, don't you want that surrounding the
I
rink?
would, yeah, 100%.
Even if it is, a lot more scattered as opposed to having them all in one centralized area, still having the noise surrounding it creates a better ambiance for the players. And I think Ontario, the rain, and Disney on Ice beat the Ontario rain, and
Yeah.
Barracuda could have earned it, but
Yeah,
that was a big factor.
it's because I mean that would be quite a drive too to get down to crypto from Ontario. I've been to
Yeah,
Ontario. I can't remember how far it was though away.
I I
but
think they
then
mentioned 45 minutes on the last broadcast.
that sounds right.
And
But you
then
also
traffic, but
go
then
through, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
but then you have to get to Staples, and
Right.
that is not fun.
Yeah, so and that's a tough one, and that's a good point, Kevin. The pain that you basically played a neutral site game.
Yeah,
Granted, you're in LA, but it's a neutral site game for your team just because you booked, Mickey Mouse on your home rink, and it's like because of that, you lose revenue, you're SOL, and Jerry F mentioning it too as well. And by the way, Jerry F, we got a delay. Thank you for your super chat, by the way, as
Yes,
well. Appreciate it.
yeah.
On TV, it looked like a COVID era bubble game. Yeah, you know,
And it
uh,
probably felt like that
it
too
looked like a Barracuda game when they were playing at
at
SAP.
SAP Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, it, Delee, is it? Or are my eyes losing it? What are your honest thoughts of our odds on beating the Colorado Eagles? I mean, the Eagles has always
They
played
need
and
they need
dominated well.
help. They're going to need help. I don't think that they can take this lineup into Colorado and give Colorado a good run. They look at there's some guy like Thomas Bortolo is day to day. They need Thomas Bortolo back. They need Gushchin to get whatever he's fighting. They need him to get over whatever he's fighting, and they need him back in the lineup. Podorowski is going to be a long shot to get back into this series, so that's just so you lose a bunch of goals there. Podorowski was the league's MVP this year, and that's a huge loss, and I can't understate how big a loss that is. But they need some other guys to come back. I think Philip Beasted's done fine, but I don't think Philip Beasted should be this team's number one center. That should be Thomas Bortolo, and
Right.
they need him desperately. And obviously Gushin, they need Gushin back. I think the power play, um, that's going to help the power play a ton, because I think the power play has been really hurt because of the amount of goals. I think if you look at the power play goals in the regular season, the in the entire league, the top two players in the entire league on the power play were Podorowski and Yushin
Wow.
for
That,
goals scored. So
yeah.
they were number 1 and 2. So I mean, it's they need some of those guys to get back into the lineup to give them an honest shot of beating this Colorado team. So this Colorado team is very good. I don't think they finished fantastic, but to Kevin's point earlier, but they're a really good team, and they have generally had their way with the Barracuda this year. I
Yeah.
can think they won one game against Colorado.
Actually, they won 3.
Oh,
So the Barracuda went 3-5. So it's not as lopsided as you would expect from that point. But it's the type of game that the Eagles bring.
yeah,
They're another heavy team. In fact, I mean, Ontario is a heavy team, but we really did not see that in this series for the most part. But Colorado being the number 1 seed, and I believe all of the Western Conference. I lost my standings there, but at the very least, number 1 in the Pacific Division.
yeah.
And they've kind of dominated the Barracuda over the last 3 years. Either Colorado is very good about maintaining their roster year after year. So this is a team that they've had the bragging rights for a while with a lot of the same core guys. They've had some players change out, but
Yeah, so the
uh,
Colorado Eagles finished the season with 94 points.
yeah,
The Abbotsford Canucks finished 92, and then Milwaukee of the Central Division finished with 91. So,
yeah, they
so
are
the,
number 1 in the West.
correct.
Okay.
So there's that. Kind of going through some of the comments while you guys have been chatting up. John Swetson, good to see you as well. Thank you again for your super chat. Still front row seats for game 2, or essentially game B. If you're going on to Ticketmaster right now, none for game 1 or game A, which is the first home game for the CUDA there. So heads up if you are looking for tickets. It looks like they are starting to go. Bob Goblin, nice name by the way.
I like
The
it.
Cags return after the hit in the second. He
Yes.
did have a bubble on his helmet, so we'll see how that's going.
Yeah, he returned like moments after or moments before the rain tied the game on the Chromiak goal. So he came back like halfway through the third.
Chef asking, there's no chance of Musty playing, but does Chernyshov have a chance?
It's interesting. It depends on what happens, right? Obviously, I think it's going to be a situation where maybe if things go really bad for the Barracuda to start and they do like a lot of change up to try and change the momentum or whatever, maybe those guys can get in. But I think right now, if the things kind of keep playing the same and guys like Gushin get back into the lineup because he's been sick, so he should be back in the lineup hopefully. For the first game against Colorado, Bordeleau's day to day, so obviously he would probably draw back in as soon as he's ready to go. So it's really an issue of like, does someone else go down to make room for these guys? Because I don't think you want to overly mess with your bottom 6 at this point. You have the best fourth line in the Pacific Division, in my opinion. I don't know why you would screw with that, and I don't think those players would really thrive in a fourth line role. So it's an issue of, can you make a spot for them on the third line? I would like to see them get some games, but again, it's got to be you want to also reward the guys that got you there.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot, I lost my train of. I was Chef. The comment that Chef just made, and we kind of covered it earlier in this podcast. And those of you who do want to catch the beginning, if you missed it, you can always check out our YouTube channel, Teal Town USA. But Musty was the extra forward during warm up today. So I
do
think
wonder if Chernyshov has got whatever Gushin got.
It's very well possible because I'm certain Askarov gave Gushchin the bug, so it could have been passed along to Chernyshov there. So I would not say Musty has no chance because Musty was the next guy in, but I do think Chernyshov has a better translation to fit into this lineup. Chernyshov has played pro hockey. Last year he spent the entire year in the KHL, which is why he dominated the OHL this year.
Right. Yeah.
And let's not forget that. And so I think he's definitely more pro ready than Quentin Musty is. But Quentin Musty does bring the type of game that I think does excel in the playoffs. It's just that's a tough ask for him to just go, hey, you got eight minutes a night in your first game and maybe 9 minutes in your second game. Go out and battle in the playoffs here. That might be a little bit of a tough ask here.
But I think having them around, like, I don't think, like, I understand how people like, oh, well, these guys need to develop and blah, blah, but I don't think people realize how important it is to have those guys around this environment just to see how the pros go through their, the way they go through the game, the way they prepare for the game.
How Colin White's been here before. Lucas Carlson's been here before. Jimmy Schultz and Andrew Podorowski have been in the Calder Cup finals each of the last 2 years. Right. So everyone should be paying attention to what they're doing. So yeah, definitely the veteran leadership will come up huge here. What's up, Eric?
I was just going to say, if you are trying to get tickets for the first game in San Jose, looking at Ticketmaster, I'm trying to look for one. Number one, screw you for making me try to get 2 seats behind Kevin's section. And 2, this is I'm gonna blow the screen on me really quick. Only could do it. That's what's left, folks.
Center ice. Those are cool seats.
But I mean, anything that's in blue here, there you go. Ooh. I mean, there is not a whole lot left in the barn, so tickets are going pretty quickly right now. If you look at secondary apps like Game Time, There's only a few seats left, and those are selling for $300. So get your tickets quickly, but leave one for me, please. All right, guys, back to you.
I was only kidding about the center ice. I meant literally center ice. Like they have to
Yes.
take the
Yeah.
face-off dot around you, which would be really interesting here.
That would
Yeah,
be-
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to go ahead because I want to kind of get into what the Eagles bring that the Barracuda have to defend. So,
Well, I was just going to go back to Chef's point here. He says next year, though, we'll see them play big roles with Barracuda. I think that's true. I think Igor Chernyshев might be on the Sharks to start the season.
I actually
Yeah.
think so as well.
But Quentin Musty, I think, will definitely be a piece on this Barracuda team going forward. I don't think he could go back to junior for an overage season, but I don't know how good Sudbury is going to be next year, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think at this point, you probably want him playing in the AHL. Chernyshев, they don't have to send back to junior, and I think that the Saginaw Spirit look at someone's going to draft Michael Meeson, probably put him right into the NHL. Zane Perrick is, I think. Zane Perrick, does he have another year of junior? I don't. So I'm not sure if he.
Yes.
Yeah, Zane Perrick might have another year of junior. So it'll be interesting to see how Saginaw is. But again, like if you're the Sharks and you have the option because Chernyshев wasn't drafted out of the OHL, he went there after he was drafted. He was drafted out of Russia. So technically, he can play on the Barracuda. He can play for the Sharks. He can play anywhere that the Sharks send him. I feel like next year he's probably sticking around. I don't think he's going back to the AHL next year. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. I think he's a guy who could make the team out of camp, though, because his game is that mature. But let's get to the Colorado Eagles.
Yeah, Eric, would you like to say something before I jump in about what?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, so
I'm still trying to find tickets.
Colorado. That's fair. That's fair. The Colorado Eagles, obviously, we said are the first, the top seed in the Western Conference, and there is a lot of good reason for that. Let's look at their blue line out to start. So Jacob McDonald, former San Jose Shark, former San Jose Barracuda for all of I think a game or two.
Yeah.
He scored 30 goals as a defenseman this season in the AHL, which is just ungodly. 31. It's 31 goals, actually. He had more goals than he had assists, believe it or not. But Jacob McDonald, you've got Jack Ashawn, who had 41 points this year. And you've also got Kalle Rosen, who is a longtime AHL defenseman. He had 10 goals from the blue line. So they really bring a lot of firepower from the blue line. So the Barracuda forwards are going to have a tough task of getting in those shooting lanes, but making sure that a very mobile blue line doesn't skate around them and bring siege to the Barracuda's relatively inexperienced defense. And that's not even mentioning Johnny Ludwig, who is a physical, good two-way defenseman for the Eagles. And thank goodness that the Avalanche brought Keaton Middleton up to their team, and I don't believe he's eligible for the Calder Cup playoffs, because that's a person that I don't want us to be playing in this round.
No doubt.
But that has made life very easy for Trent Miner and Adam Scheel, who are the two goalies for the Eagles. I respect both of their games. I think Trent Miner has been overreaching the last 2 years, but he had a .930 save percentage last year and a .918 save percentage this season. So regardless, he is doing the job he needs to do in front or behind an excellent Eagles defense. Now let's talk about the forwards. Yuri Inola has put up a ridiculous amount of goals against us this season. He's kind of a who's that guy kind of player. Well, he keeps scoring against us. So
He's
and
Cole
we got
Lind.
he's Cole Lind. That's a great example. But you've got TJ Tynan, who is a former 100-point scorer, just like Andrew Podorowski. They did it in the same season. Jason Magna, not Jacob, but Jason Magna is a longtime veteran. So they've got their leadership. Matthew Phillips, it's another little ratty 5'7" player. I love him. I would love him on this team, but man, he's a pain to play against. He was their leading scorer with 57 points this year. And all of that allowed Ty Felleber, who was in the ECHL last year, Ty Felleber, like 4 or 5 year pro or whatever, 22 goals. when you've got that kind of support around you, yeah, that's how Jonathan Chichu scores 56 goals in the NHL.
Oh,
Ty
yeah.
Gulliver scoring 22 here this year for Colorado as their second leading goal scorer, because, as I said, Jacob McDonald, 31 goals, ridiculous. So it's going to be I didn't even mention Chris Wagner. I forgot he's on the team. So they line up a lot of good veteran players to surround their younger guys like Oscar Ellison and Nikita Prishapov and such. So what's up, Eric? I know you want a ticket update, or
I'm just trying to buy again. I'm just trying to get a seat in your section and
in
without having
217.
and I have to take 2 seats, which
Okay.
um,
Bring
I
the
know
missus.
I know my butt is big, but
That's the worst part about No, sorry. We know what the worst part about Ticketmaster. The second worst part about
Second worst part.
is that they force you to buy extra seats so that there aren't singles left behind. But when you are a single and you want to buy a seat, it doesn't let you do it that way.
It's
just
brutal. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes no sense. And then you're
So we'll figure that out. I'm just playing while you guys are going on because you guys are the Barracuda experts. I'm just excited
I'm
about
a
this
Barracuda
team
guy.
going
I'm a
going
guy.
to. Don't Ian, don't sell yourself short, okay? All right. So with that, we'll put that aside for now. Okay. We'll do a little bit of the NHL side. Toronto is forced to play a game 5 as Jake Sanderson gets an overtime winner in game 4 for Ottawa. Blackwood with the shutout for the Avalanche. They go up 3-1 on the Dallas Stars, which Peter DeBoer pulled Jake Ottinger in the third period for Casey DeSmith. That was going on while we were on the air. Will be interesting on that. Florida loses 5-1 to Tampa as Tampa gets back into that series. Every road team has won in that series. And then what was the other? I'm blanking on the other series that played today.
Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. Yes,
Minnesota and Vegas.
that's why I didn't want to talk about it because Vegas won in overtime. Cheap shot artist Ivan Barbashev with the overtime winner. If you know, you know from 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, takes out Tomas Hurdle and then
Yeah,
Petrangelo.
another
Oh,
team
let me
beat
just throw an
one.
elbow at Joe Pavelski. He's already got a concussion. Okay, I digress. But Vegas evens the series with Minnesota tied up at 2-2. Guys, anything on the series? I know Ian. I know both of us will talk about a lot more of the stuff tomorrow. But
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really I wasn't prepared to talk about any of this.
all right, moving onward then.
No, I don't know. I mean, look, I think it's fun that I thought that the Toronto Ottawa series would have more juice, and that's funny to say given that I think every game's gone to overtime except for one. But I don't know. I guess good to see them get a win on home ice, and I mean they're probably not long for this world. I didn't think they were anyway, but I still think it's nice that after such a long period of time for there being no playoff hockey at Canadian Tire Center that they got to celebrate a win there. Probably before it all goes horribly wrong next game.
Kev, I know you follow the AHL a little bit more, but what have you seen from the playoffs so far in the NHL?
I really haven't watched too much of the NHL playoffs. I watched a little bit of the Minnesota Vegas game today. I watched a little bit of the Ontario Toronto game. PK Subban's most mysterious, never heard of this guy player, Jake Sanderson, got that overtime winner today, and that was pretty cool. I can't believe Ottawa killed off a 4-minute power play to that Toronto unit in overtime, but good on them. Yeah, I mean the playoffs have been good. I miss the old physical playoffs here, so I want to see more angst and everything. The series that I've wished I've been able to watch that I've seen 0 minutes of is the Florida Tampa Bay series, which my preseason and all season pick was Florida to repeat, but then they had so many injuries down the stretch that I switched that from Florida to Tampa Bay as my cup winner. And wow, Florida has suddenly remembered who they are, and the Panthers are looking real strong right now. What I was looking up, Eric, was because we talked about it on Thursday night for one of our listeners here, was the ECHL playoffs with
Yes.
Oh.
Wichita and Tahoe. So as we last left them, Tahoe had a 3-0 series lead, to which Wichita had given up 65 shots in
Oh,
a
God.
67-minute overtime game on what was it, Wednesday night. So Tahoe did complete the sweep, because almost every series in round one in the ECHL was a sweep. Tahoe did sweep Wichita 4-0. Only allowed 39 shots in that game, but they were taking a 2-1 lead into the third period when they
Oh.
lost that. But Barracuda forward Joe Carroll did score the last goal of the season for the Wichita Thunder there at the end of the second. So maybe we can make it 34 men on the Barracuda roster here.
There we go.
Coming up here. But anyway, so Tahoe advances to the next round of the playoffs in their first season. So congratulations to everybody there at Tahoe Blue Center, something, whatever it's called. It's a cool looking arena, but I've not been. So
ECHL has the best jerseys.
Oh,
Like, is there a league that has better jerseys than the ECHL? The answer is no.
no. Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
the Savannah Ghost Pirates and the Orlando Solar Bears and the
Yes.
Tahoe
Yeah,
Monsters
just
and
so good.
the
So good.
Greenville Swamp Rabbits.
Yeah, like just so good.
the Augusta Green Jackets.
No, it's a baseball team.
No, I thought there was
The
there's
Atlanta
Atlanta
Gladiators.
Gladiators.
Yeah.
Which
That's a cool logo too.
No, but I thought that maybe I must have gotten them confused with like a theme night. I swear I saw something there.
They probably
yeah.
did have a theme night. Although for the Augusta Green Jackets, although I did see that there's a jersey up for auction that the Charlotte Checkers did, where they renamed themselves the Ghost Peppers for a night, and that jersey.
Nice.
And I think like maybe not like the coolest
fire.
jersey,
It's a
but
fire jersey. Sorry, I got to keep the pun going. Go ahead.
maybe
Ian.
not the coolest jersey, but like the Wheeling Nailers is the best name in hockey.
The Wheeling Nailers. That's a Pittsburgh.
Is the
affiliate.
best name in hockey.
Not to go old school, but I mean the Macon Whoopee. I mean, but yeah, there are a ton of ECHL jerseys I want to get, but really can't afford. But
Yeah, the best jerseys in
oh
hockey.
yeah, no, it's awesome. But hats off to Wichita for a good year. Again, I would have to think anybody that is accessible for the Barracuda would probably be coming for round two. I would think, Kevin.
What up?
Anyone who's like Sharks property probably going to the Barracuda for round two. I mean, they'll definitely be around, I think. Right, like if they're Sharks property, yeah, they're gonna hang around the Barracuda. They might not play.
Yeah.
They'll be around though.
Hopefully Macklin Celebrini won't get bombarded like he was the last time he tried to go to a Barracuda game. But
Get him a suite, for crying out loud.
yeah, that's the thing. They definitely have a couple of suites that they can use there, but Barracuda fans, for the most part, though, are pretty respectful. I mean, you see Ryan Clough walking around, Ricci's around, and Wingles, and then there's Philip Beestet when he was hurt. He was walking around, and I remember Anya Bucci a couple years ago. So, and they're for the most part, you fist bump, take a photo, and that's about it. But yeah, I think guys like Celebrini and Smith might need to stay in the luxury.
Stay in the suite. Yeah.
The what I got distracted there that I missed your question was because Abbotsford has taken a 4-0 lead on Tucson late in the third.
Sad.
Damn.
You had one job, Tucson. You had one job.
Yeah. So Abbotsford like taking on Coachella Valley. The CUDA looking to go up against their beast, I guess, in the Colorado Eagles. But as Kevin said, they were 3-5. against
It's
against.
hard. You know what? Like the thing is,
But
like
they've
they play
always
so
been
many
dominant.
games in division that it's hard to keep track of like the overall record because it's like we play 8 games over the course of an entire season. Where like the NHL, you're lucky you play a team 4 times.
Yeah, I would have expected what you said, one or two wins against
Yeah.
Colorado with the way that heavy game that they play. Like, I think I was at one of their wins this month for the Barracuda, but yeah, it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be fun, gonna be raucous. Hopefully we get some playoff towels or something because that'll be
Oh
a
yeah.
cool sight to see. It's gonna be a great time. They better be wearing black. That's all I got to say.
Yes.
Yeah, they better be rocking the black at home. Indeed, that's a sweet jersey, and they should just make a white version of that and call it a day. I'm just throwing that out there. So, all right, I think that does it for us, guys.
Yeah. I was gonna ask Kevin a question, but I think
Oh, well, then go ahead.
just because I know we saw that the Barracuda signed the Denver goalie not too long ago.
Oh yeah, Matt
So
Davis. That was my closing thought. Well, yeah, let's talk about that, and then we should talk about Andrew Podorowski before we sign off as
okay.
well. We probably should have
I was
talked
gonna
about.
ask you because like Yuri Romanov and Gabe Carrier both contracts are up at the end of this season. So
Gabe Carrier, I thought was. Oh no, you're right. You're right.
yeah, because I was looking, because I just thought, because initially I'm like, okay, well Romanov's done because I thought Carrier was signed, but
Oh,
what do you think? Like, do you think the Barracuda go back and bring them both back and go into the season with 4 guys? Or do you
so
think Georgi
I've been
Romanov's
saying
probably
ever since Romanov got called up that he was the sacrificial lamb. Um, if they thought Carrier had less upside, Carrier would have been the one who got called up and stayed up. Because the Sharks were just trying to get through the season.
yeah.
The goalie who had more promise in their eyes was going to be staying down with the Barracuda and getting uh, playoff time experience, or rather, well, yeah, playoff time too, but in-game experience and then playoffs as well, and that's Carrier. So I absolutely think that Carrier has played well enough. I mean, he's a little bit inconsistent, but as a
Yeah.
first-year pro goalie, that's not that surprising, especially when this team has been among the leaders all year round for shots against, and I don't mean that in a favorable way. So yeah, I think next year you're going to see a combination of Matt Davis from Denver and Gabe Carrier. I actually think at the moment Carrier probably gets the nod just because of familiarity, but Davis definitely has a huge ceiling, no risk at all in signing him. I still can't believe he signed an AHL contract. I thought he would have for sure gotten a handful of NHL offers, but
Mhm.
nevertheless, it's a great signing. It gives Eric Polkamp a familiar face if he eventually
Mhm.
comes over at the end of next year. I'm guessing he's going back for a junior year this next year, but that's going to be it's a really nice, no risk, high reward signing in Matt Davis. Georgi Romanov will be curious. You and I both. Thought he played a lot better than we expected when he was
For
signed.
sure. Yeah.
So it's not to necessarily discredit Georgi Romanov, but one of the things about him that we need to remember is he's 25 years old already.
Yeah.
Like he came over to North America a bit on the late side, and he's got some, he's got some talent here, but um, he's definitely, in my opinion, never going to be a starting goalie in the NHL. And the Barracuda, or rather the Sharks, are looking for that next goalie to slot in right behind Yaroslav Askarov as the
Mhm.
as the eventual number one. So yeah, I really liked that signing. What gave me dismay, you guys, was Andrew Podorowski was named the MVP of the league, and then nearly immediately in the same breath, we get a rumor out of Russia, and take that
Yeah.
for what it's worth. But we get a rumor out of Russia that Andrew Podorowski will be terminating the last year, or rather voiding the last year of his contract next year to sign with Avangard Omsk. And I don't know where this source originated from, but I know that Sport RU picked it up, and Sport RU is a better reputable source. So, I mean, I don't think they'll just post anything. So, I'm highly concerned, not only for the fact that Podorowski is our best player, he was the best player in the entire league this year.
Yeah.
And if he does void the second year of his contract and leave after this season, that makes 3 straight years where your veteran leader between Andrew Agazzino, Nathan Todd, and Andrew Podorowski all asked out before their contract
I
ended. And
I
I
think in this situation, because I agree that's a concerning thing, but I do
Yeah.
think in this situation when you have a guy who's going to the KHL, he's he's not going over there for chump change, right? Like this is somewhere
I
where you turn
imagine
an
they'd be
MVP season that
yeah,
he's going to get a significant pay increase to go to the AHL. Whereas like Agazino, he was still on the same contract. He just didn't want to be here.
sure.
Um, so I think
I
we see a
completely
lot of guys do this. We see a lot of guys translate a big AHL season into either a KHL deal or whatever, and then we see guys in the KHL do the same thing, right? Or the SHL, they have a big year and then they translate that into a deal in North America. So I sometimes think that the Barracuda do have some issues, and I've been very vocal about those things. But I think in this situation specifically, I don't know if it's a situation where it's like he wants out because the Barracuda are a clown show behind the scenes. I think it's just an issue of they're going to give him a big bag of money in
I
a
do
paper bag because that's how Russian players get paid.
I do think there's something to be said about that. I mean, Podorowski led the league in points,
Mhm.
so a Russian team needing for a little boost is going to go here's a whole bunch of money and probably more under the table. And when you're a 31-year-old, veteran AHL forward with now
Father of
three,
three now, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
father of three now, you got to set yourself up for the rest of your life. So, if that does happen, I wish him all the best. I really just I want to see another. Let's get 85 points next season in San
Yeah.
Jose from Podorowski.
Yeah,
Right.
like, and again, and if we see other veteran players like jump ship immediately after too, I think that goes back to some of the issues that I have with the Barracuda and how they've not been able to hold down veteran talent. I just think in this specific case, it's probably more an issue. It's a money thing. When you look at a guy like Podorowski, how long he's been playing, how many more earning years he has left. Because the other thing you have to remember too is like you only have so many spots for veteran guys to play in the HL in any
Right.
given game, right? So his like, and he's doing really well. But if he starts to slide back down and age starts to catch up to him, then it's a situation where I think he's got to look out for number one in this case.
Yep.
Yeah, and a couple of things coming in from the chat. John Sunson was saying in San Jose he at least has a chance for NHL minute. Ricky saying in the interviews before the season, Podorowski was talking about maybe getting a shot at the show. He was
Mhm.
good and wasn't bad in his call up. They didn't give him a real shake either. Makes you kind of wonder. Okay, if that's the case, then maybe I can move on.
See, but I hate that I have to defend the Sharks here again, but I have
Right.
to because like the thing this year was like the one thing to their credit that they did really well this year was it wasn't Podorowski, like guys like Podorowski getting the call of and playing. They did a good job of calling up the guys that they wanted to see that could factor into the future. I love Podorowski. I think he's been great for the Barracuda. And obviously, you do want to see him rewarded with some NHL games, but he's not the future. He's not the guy that's going to be slotting in on the third line when this is over.
No, I think
Right?
he was this right spot in the right time for it, where he, doing his job, being the leading goal scorer of the
Yeah.
Cuda, and when there is an injury to come up, he gets his shot in with the big
Well,
club.
but the other guys got shots, right? Like they
Right.
instead of calling up Podorowski, like last year, if he was here last year, that's what would have happened. When everyone got hurt,
Yeah.
Podorowski would have been the guy to get called up. He would have played the entire year on the Barracuda. But this year, that's not what happened. Guys like Ethan Cardwell got called up. Guys like Gushin got called up. Colin Graf got called up. Again, they let the guys have an opportunity to show something that are going to possibly factor into the future of the team. Whereas last year, it was just, we need the veteran guys that are going to fill out the bottom six, and that's what's going to happen, and everyone's going to like it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with those points. But I thought we needed to have this discussion,
Yeah.
just to throw it all out there. Hopefully, it's exactly what you described, and I agree. But you're right. I mean, call it. And let's not be scared if Colin White doesn't come back next year, because Colin White doesn't have a contract for
Right.
after this season. But Colin White's another veteran that I would like to see remain on this team. And yeah, I think he's been really solid. He had 2 assists tonight. Let's not
Mhm.
forget that too. Colin White assisted both goals for the Barracuda. So brought in to be a veteran leader and really stepping up, because as you said, Beestet's not a number 1 center here. Colin White could be, but I like him better as the number 2 or even the number 3. But yeah.
From Shangping, McCarthy had no update on Hool. Said he was still being checked out. Hopefully, Donovan can enjoy the win a little bit. Kuda staying overnight in LA at a not so shabby place to enjoy a playoff series victory. That's a direct quote from from Shang there tonight. So
5-0 Abbotsford.
yeah,
Oh, no.
5-0 Abbotsford. So there's a case. So it's funny, Ian. I did change my handle on my end. If for some reason it's showing that I'm at Ian Blogs Hockey
I
on
told
there.
you. Oh, it's fine. We'll fix it later.
It's
Shoot,
fine.
I had my "We Are All Kevin." I brought it back in the last game, but maybe I needed to change mine to "We Are All Ian."
Oh my
Right?
god, it's good.
Good
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, this is fun. And obviously, this is going to continue through the as long as the Barracuda are in the playoffs. I can't be on all the shows, but I will be on the ones where I absolutely can be. And I think at some point, Kevin, if we can get together, I would love to do like a post mortem once the season is over.
Certainly,
Yeah. So
certainly, and we can ask Nick for his media credential halfway through the podcast.
Okay,
Yes.
wait a minute. We were going to talk about this on Thursday night, but crazy story. If you guys hadn't heard it during the broadcast, in the middle of the game, they're on the air. Game number 1, period 2. Someone comes up to the press box at Crypto.com Arena and asks Nick Dollenberger and Drew Remenda for their media credentials. What are you guys doing up here? And apparently it happened to the Ontario Reign broadcast team as well. So I don't
Yeah,
know
it
what's
wasn't
going on.
discrimination against the Barracuda.
Right. I don't know what's going on, but someone tell crypto.com security, to
Relax a little.
just
I can't imagine like you see a guy doing play by play and you're like, yeah, I don't this smells funny. Like, what is this guy doing?
What is this? The AHL doesn't have play-by-play.
Oh my god. Too funny.
oh
I
man.
did not realize the Rochester Americans and Syracuse Crunch have already started their second round playoff matchup
That's so
The
yesterday.
AHL.
AHL, man. The AHL.
All right, Rochester's up 1-0 in round 2 of their series with Syracuse. Because what I wanted to look up was when we can expect the next Barracuda game, and I was thinking maybe Wednesday ish. I feel like Wednesday's logical since they usually do have home games on Wednesdays, especially in the springtime.
Yeah.
So I could certainly see a Wednesday, Friday for games 1 and 2 in San Jose before moving on to Colorado the following week. But Grand Rapids and Texas is starting on Tuesday. Milwaukee and Rockford is starting on Thursday. And then, as I said, Syracuse and Rochester's already started. So those are the only ones that, those are the only ones that have confirmed dates right now. So
Texas
I
and
would
Grand
go with,
Rapids should be fun.
what's up?
Texas and Grand Rapids should be fun.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Grand Rapids played, the last couple of years, they were not nearly as good as they had been time after time after time. But they did kind of have a management overhaul. I remember Kyle Criscuolo actually told me that he was kind of the odd man out after Sean Horkoff took over the Grand Rapids scene there and was trying to kind of reinvigorate that organization, that franchise. And so they played very strong hockey this year, and Texas was a beast in the Central Division. So you're right. That's a great series to watch if you have Flow Hockey.
Yeah, man, check that out.
On the local standpoint, the San Jose Giants aren't back until May 6th. So it'd be nice to not have any conflicts with parking around Sharks Ice and Excite Ballpark. So that'll be a good thing. So, yes, if they do go with the 2-3 format and have the Cuda host the first two games, should be nothing but smooth sailing and everything going on around Sharks Ice and Tech C Arena for the beginning of that series. So stay tuned to hear. We will, of course, once we do get the official schedule to come out, we will share that. And of course, we will be on following each and every Barracuda game for sure. And Ian, should we break the news about tomorrow?
Yes, go ahead.
So we will be doing what we'll call Sunday Shark Bites or Teal Tinted Glasses, either one that
Sunday
we figure.
Shark Bites, yeah.
Sunday Shark Bites. Okay, thank you. We'll recap the week of everything that happened around the playoffs, of course, with the CUDA as well. We'll begin at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That'll give plenty of time for Ian to talk for 3 hours, so that way he can get to bed on time.
These things are important to me.
Absolutely. So
it's good. I'm glad though. We had some games today because before I was planning on going to the show and just being like, my bracket's dead. I'm an idiot, and now my bracket's fine again. So I'll be less sad.
And I should correct myself. I did say it was a 3-1 Avalanche series lead. It's actually the series is tied 2-2 as they go back to Dallas for Game 5 next week.
Is TTG eliminated? It's not eliminated. I think it's just I don't know. It had a very specific thing that we kind of purposed it into, and I just haven't. I don't know. It's never
Life
dead.
got in our way. All of us.
Life got in the way. It's just, it's just weird, right? So, it's something that I'd like to do again next season, but again, it's just there's schedules to work around and stuff. I do regret that it was good that we got to talk about. I think we did a good job covering the Barracuda on Pucknologists this year, but it is a regret of mine that we weren't able to do some Barracuda specific content.
No.
And Nick too. Nick had a baby, so Nick wasn't available. So when I say all of us, I mean all of us.
All of us, yeah.
Yes. No. It'll be great.
Nick has definitely said, "Man, I don't know when we're gonna do this, but let's get a show going."
Yeah. So I feel bad, and it sucks because my work schedule changed, so it kind of changed how my hours of operation worked. I used to work in the evening, so staying up late wasn't a big deal. Now I work first thing in the morning, and I'm 3 hours behind these guys, so it's a rough. Or 3 hours ahead, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, come on, let's be real here. Ian at 1:30 a.m. telling everybody to F that guy, and then have to be at work in about 6.5 hours later to tell his or 5 hours at that point to say F that guy to his coworkers. I mean, that'd be tough.
Not ideal.
So, all right. With that,
give him a look like Anthony Vincent does every time there's a stoppage in play. It'll be good.
I don't know. Does he do the Tomas Hurdle smile or something? Where it's
something. I don't know, but stay on the Barracuda forever so that we don't find out why.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's it, guys. You good? I know I jumped the gun earlier, but all right. I think
we're good. Like I said, I'm hoping that me and Kevin can sit down once everything's kind of done and have a postmortem on the Barracuda season, kind of get more in the weeds on who's coming back, who's not coming back, stuff like that. I'd love to do that at some point. So it's just it's an issue of making our schedules line up to do it.
Right.
But it's something that we want to do. So I'm hoping that we can do that at some point this summer.
Yep. Sounds good. And
Maybe that'll be a TTG.
There you go.
Hockey Jerk, if you're watching, I'm just saying. All right. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Audio version will be up shortly after we conclude here. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button. It does go a long way to help us out. The subscribe button as well, and hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when we do go on the air following the Barracuda game, along with a lot more. I mean, the draft lottery is less than, well, I think it's about 2 weeks away right now. So we'll be on the lookout for that. We will have some sort of draft lottery show. We're working with Team Teal as to where we can have such. So we'll be on the lookout for that for sure. And if you're watching us on the replay, leave a comment down below on how awesome Ian and Kevin are at their Barracuda knowledge.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I do want to, just for my final thoughts here, I want to thank John Swenson once again for the $10 Super Chat donation. That's fantastic. So thank you.
Helps keep the
Kudos
lights
to
on.
you. And also to Blutch in the chat like an hour ago, who wrote Patrick Giles appreciation post. We did not mention Patrick Giles tonight, but I absolutely love the game that he brings. And penalty killing beast, him and Colin Graf together. So yeah, Patrick Giles definitely has been a great find, just as I thought he would be when the Sharks acquired him. So happy that he remained eligible to play in the playoffs despite not playing in the regular season till the very end at the AHL level. So other than that, I'll see you guys at Tech CU Arena for game 1 and 2. You'll know where to find me, and I'm sure I'll have my turtleneck on. So
yes. All right. That is awesome. Ian, your final thoughts before we get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, again, when the Barracuda do good, it's good. Obviously. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward again. I'm looking forward to talking about this team more. I'm hoping this is a long playoff run. They're going to be in tough against Colorado, but I think if they can get some of their key pieces back, I think it'll be a much better series than maybe some people are going to give it credit for. Again, tomorrow we're going to do the Summer Shark Bites thing, so I'm looking forward to just doing some general NHL nonsense talk tomorrow. And yeah, I think it's gonna be super exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Ian. As for me, it's been 6 years since we got to, wave a rally towel around here. So I'm excited for this. You can't. And looking at how many tickets are left on Ticket Bastard, I am super psyched
Bastard.
that
I heard that too, and you're not wrong.
I mean, come on, let's be real here. I'm really psyched to see a full barn at Tech C Arena. I know the kids showed up and got really loud on the Barracuda Classroom Day, but I can't wait for over 4,000 fans going nuts there. We'll see. We'll keep you posted on details of everything for the CUDA. As soon as we get them, we will forward them to you. But it's official now. Abbotsford has won, so the CUDA will be taking on the Colorado Eagles in the Pacific Division semifinals as they defeated the Ontario Reign 2-1 and sweep the best of 3 series. So that is it for this one. We will be back with you on Sunday, 6 p.m. for Sunday Shark Bites. And then we'll give you more down the road. But, I mean, within the next couple of weeks, you're going to have CUDA playoff after dark, maybe another Sunday Shark Bite. And then the Draft Lottery live reaction show should be a great one indeed. So for Kevin, for Ian, for everyone here at Teal Town USA, thanks for watching. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal, and just remember, teal does really bite back. Good night, everyone. Where's that damn button? Good night, everyone.